love who made him a champion.
NFL Weekly 1, great to be back. Tell them like it is. Did the 8 division previews. Dave Scholler here. Apple, iTunes, Spotify. John Facenda in background. Roger Staubach's retirement speech. NFL football, baby.
I wasn't going to do this, but
that's where it's at. Great to be here. You see that week 1 schedule up there in front of you. Good stuff today. Great to be back for week 1. Sharks with a good fall league win, week 1 in the fall league. Played with an Iron Man crew of 5 guys today. Good job. And week 1, always great. Hope springs eternal. A couple of things I always want to talk about week 1. First of all, I always like it when they take 2 teams, teams that don't have great opportunity to be good this year, that are going to have to play each other. Let them play each other that first week. Get somebody off the schneid early and get them off to a good start because you know me, I'm a big schedule guy. Last year, you saw the Panthers and the Broncos both get off to great starts, 3-0, because their schedule was good. They took advantage of it, but seasons went flat from there. And then, of course, the Texans, who just had a brutal schedule, started out 0-5, losing tough games, and they must have pissed off the football gods to have that schedule. But here we are, week 1, nothing better in football. My Vikings at 425 today. Chris Carter again. Does catch touchdowns. Rosie's in the booth today. Looking for a biscuit raise. So it's great to see those other teams, all those teams with bad records, maybe in their forecast, get off to a decent start today, and we'll talk about those games. First, though, the Rams got the crap kicked out of them by the Bills. Josh Allen just showed you why he's a stud. 2 of the picks, neither of them was really his fault, but just running over guys. I can't believe more people don't see the Elway comparison. He's probably a little more accurate than Elway, but very strong armed, big and strong, throw the ball all over the place, can run people over. He is a lot like Elway, except, just maybe a little more accurate, but just a great, great specimen to watch every week, a great athlete. But anyway, so that game was a smackdown. Shouldn't even have been that close. Should really been about 35-3, but a couple of bad breaks. It could have been worse than 28-10, but it blew them out nonetheless. And great to see that. 31-10, I believe. This week, we'll give you the spreads. We'll talk about some different types of games that we always like to talk about. If you look at that schedule up there on the screen there, we're going to go to the Bucks at Dallas first, the NBC game tonight. If you could stomach it, hard to just listen to any Tom Brady game these days. It's you want to throw up. Will the Bucks O-line stand up? Bucks are favored by 2.5. They're in the worst division in football, so they're going to win that division by default. I think they might clinch tonight already. Lots of weapon for the Bucks, but at the same time, lots of weapon for the boys too. Although no Mari Cooper, got to control the clock and control the ball. Some offensive line concerns for each team. Of course, Tom Brady always gives you an edge up, but you got to give the ball to Dak. And we'll see if Parsons and the boys on defense can make some plays. Last year, Dallas had an historic amount of touchdowns off the defense. I don't think you can expect that every year. So this is going to be an interesting game. This is a situation where for playoff seed already, this game is, because you assume both these teams are going to make it. Bucks, especially because their division is trash. Dallas division is a little less trash, but as you can tell, both teams with the offensive line concerns got rookies at left tackle for protecting Dak, so that could be trouble. Bucks have a good defense. No JPP there for the Bucks, but still a really formidable team. 2.5 point spread. I don't know. I got to take the Bucks. I think they'll win by a field goal. It's a perfect line for that game, 2.5. But which offensive line will stand up? If the Bucks get decent offensive line play, they should be fine. The next game up there, the Raiders at the Chargers. This is what I call one of the nut-cutting games of the week. This one, the Packers and the Vikings. Nut-cutting because they're both division rivals, and they're going to be playing each other early in the season here, and they both have a chance to win the division. So right off the bat, you just put a panic in one franchise's season. Go 0-1. Football's the worst. I mean, fans overreact to game 1 in football more than any other sport, especially here in New York with the Jets and the Giants. Both struggled for the last couple of years. So if either one of those teams get off to another 0-1 start, the fans will be jumping off the bus tomorrow at 6 a.m. in the morning as I'm driving to work towards the Shark Tank. Fans will be jumping off bridges. So both teams have struggled. Giants have really struggled. No one, like I said to you before in the previews of the divisions, nobody needs a better start this year than the New York Giants. They have just their September record the last 4 or 5 years has been atrocious. So they need to get off to a better start. Does anybody that needs to get off to a one-on-one start more than the Giants? I want to meet them. I don't think in NFL history, because when you have 5 or 6 years of build up in a place like New York, a media hotbed for football, the thing is, you got to get off to a better start than 0-3, 0-4, 0-5, 1-6. You got to get off to a better start, but they're not in an easy place today with the Titans out in Tennessee, although it's Titans light right now. It's tightened down. It's not really the same Titans anyway. It's Diet Titans, but we'll talk about that later. So Raiders at the Chargers. It's too early for this game. Chargers are favored by 3, and it's a tough line. Carver, Herbert, tons of weapons. Such a big game. Probably one of the biggest games of the week. I think it probably is the biggest game of the week as far as excitement and things of that nature. I guess you could say Bills, Rams, but I don't count the Thursday games. To me, football starts on Sunday. I think it's a lot of overkill out there. I mean, I'm glad to get the game in the other night, but still, not a big fan of the Thursday night football. The games tend to be trash. The statistics show that. They're not close games. Teams are banged up. So again, it's Carver's, the stud for the freaking Chargers. Justin Herbert, he's such a good quarterback. Tons of weapons. Again, big game. I got to take the Chargers here. I think the Raiders might be one of those teams that's slightly overrated. They got Devontae Adams. I'm happy to get him out of Green Bay. But really, watch Aaron Rodgers have 4 new studs to throw to today. As a Viking fan, no one is more aware of that than me. One of the other nut-cutting games of the day, Packers at the Vikings. Packs favored by 2. I usually abstain from picking this game because it's a Viking fan, obviously. I don't want to be a homer. Vikings lost 8 out of 14 one possession. 14 of the games last year were decided by one possession. They lost 6 of those. That's too many. You can't lose 6 games decided by one possession. Several of them on the last play. Clock management before the half is the disgrace. No one ever talked about. Brad Childress had the same problem. You got to have better clock management. And what that means is understanding on offense when you're not going to score, maybe not throwing your defense under the bus by leaving too much time on the clock for your team. The Vikings have sucked at this. You can bet your ass I'll be watching that today. Big time. No Adams, top D for the Pack, though. Great defense, and I'm a little concerned about that. I really don't know if this guy can coach. I like our roster. I'm just not sure if this guy can coach. We'll find out. Such a big game early, nut-cutting game, and again, one of these franchises will be panicked, and especially the pressures on the home team. So in the situation with the Chargers, you need to see them win. The Vikings need to win today. So right off the bat, you're in a pressure game. You don't want to go 1 at home to a division rival. And the team that probably in the Raiders and the Chargers, the Packers and the Vikings case, the team that could beat you for the division. So I guess if you put a gun to my head, I would have to think the Packers could definitely win this game by 2.5, 3. Well, not going to win by 2.5. That'd be impossible. I'm looking forward to seeing if Hunter is healthy enough to get some sacks. Looking forward to Cook running the ball, Madison running the ball, maybe keep Rodgers off the field, but it sounds like we're going to be throw happy. So 49ers Bears, one of the picks of my knockout pool is definitely a 49er pick. Here we are at 12:40, by the way, NFL Sunday, week 1. Tell it like it is. Dave Scholler here with the Viking hat on. Who else will be wearing a Viking hat? I just feel like this is one of the I just don't know is who's going to be ready. Is Trey Lance going to be ready here? That's the big thing. They signed Joey G. It's going to create a little bit of a backup problem. Bears D was historically bad last year. I guess everybody laughing at that trade from the Raiders for Mac back in the day. How'd that turn out? Raiders are good now. Bears never got crap out of them. Fields must improve for the Bears, but I think the Bears will be one of the worst teams in the NFL. But again, sometimes it's fun to coach them that year. Them and the Texans, you just know going in, you're not going to be good. You just try to build a foundation. I have to take the in a sloppy field today. Supposedly it's a monsoon. I'd have to believe that the 49ers would probably find a way to win this by 8, but a monsoon could slow that down. But we have to see if Trey Lance is ready. He might be able to give one away to the other team. The key is, will the Bears, with their terrible defense, be willing to take that ball the other way? So we'll pick the Niners in that game. Browns at the Panthers. Boy, this is one of my NFL drama games. The NFL is nobody better in the NFL at creating drama. And this is why it's such a successful league. This is why they're making billions and billions of dollars every year. And this is why they have their own day of the week. They shared it with the Catholic Church, which is pretty crazy in itself. So the Browns at the Panthers, they love to have agenda games. It's like, when they saw that the Browns and the Panthers had to say, they said, let's get it on week 1. So we got Baker against the Browns without Deshaun. Although I think Jacoby Brissett is one of those underrated guys. Him and Tyrod Taylor, I thought, have been decent quarterbacks in this league who can just never get a break. There's always someone who just steps in and is a little bit better. They're always the second choice. Is McCaffrey going to be healthy? Jesus Lord. But, I think Baker's better than people think. He had the Chiefs by But you know what? A couple of years ago, and then last year played hurt, never bitched about it. Something that most guys today won't even dream of doing. Most guys don't even dream when they would have a hangnail today. Baker's playing with a bad shoulder before. NFL drama special. Just incredible how the NFL spots these games and just throws them right out there to you. So that's going to be a fun game. The only thing is it's a 1:00 game, so it's a little surprising that they wouldn't put this in a little drama spot. I guess because they're not sure if the Browns and the Panthers will be any good. Obviously, Deshaun Watson drama. Browns won't have him till week 11. We'll find out about that. Actually, week 12, we'll find out about how they're going to be. Panthers favor 1.5. I'm going to take the Panthers in this game, even though I think the Browns are a better team. I just think that Baker's going to have something to prove, and I think he is one of those guys that rises up to big moments like this. Bengals at Steelers. If you're the Bengal fans today, Coach Heenan, Chick, you guys love your Bengals. If you want to really, Bengals have not had success with the Steelers traditionally. If you want to show that you made all the improvements and all the improvements worked, you need to lay an ass kicking on the Steelers today. All right, you're favored by 6.5. You're at home. You have the Steelers down here. We got to see if it's Mitchell Trubisky, Pickett. All right, Mitchell Trubisky's going to start. We talked about this yesterday in divisions previews because Mitchell Trubisky starts because he's an option. If you go to Pickett plays first and then he doesn't do well and you got to put Trubisky in there, the fans go crazy. You can't make that move. You got to let Pickett develop. But if you start the season with Trubisky, you can go to Pickett at one point. That is a move that's acceptable to many fans in their mind. But if you go to Pickett, a local kid who went to Pitt, and then you have to go backwards to Trubisky, fans would lose their mind. So this is the right way to go, even though I would like to see Pickett go first. There's really no option to get out of Pickett and go to Trubisky. You're not going to do that. Once you put that kid in there, he's going to be there forever. You'd hope. But I'd like to see the Bengals, with so many weapons, revamped offensive line. Bengals just need to stop the Steel running game, stop Najee, and see what's going on there, and see if they can put the beating on the Steelers and show that they're really ready to step up with that revamped offensive line, which would be really good. So that's a great game also, and also a nut cutting game. But again, Bengals are a lot better than the Steelers, so I don't want to call that a nut cutting game. So we can't really call that a nut cutter. Then you got NFC South, dog shit division, dog poop division. Saints at the Falcons. Saints by 5.5. Is Jameis going to just turn the ball over? The Falcons are in a revamp. No Matty Ice. This game is not a fun game to watch, even though it's a division game. You say, well, that's a nut-cutting game. No, it isn't. Both these teams stink. I think the Saints stink less than the Falcons. Saints maybe could rise up and give the Bucs some trouble. They would have recent years, but Saints are not good either. I mean, they got the dome, but don't have the great coaching staff right now. So maybe new coaches will step in and be great also, but I doubt it. This game just is not that exciting. Next. Eagles at the Lions. I think the Eagles are better. I think Campbell is definitely a tough guy. Is Goff going to step up? I think the Eagles are one of those teams that everybody's overrating. They do have some weapons for Hurts. Hurts is a winner. Do love his toughness. He has some great players from Alabama last year. And then bottom line is they have some big time playmakers out of the wide receiver spot. I think the Eagles, will win the game, but Eagles, I think, might be a little bit overrated this year. But I think, the Lions, Campbell's got something to him. I want to see if the Lions step up and see what Goff does. It's a crossroads in Goff's career here because he has a big contract, and if the second year doesn't work, you could see them just cutting bait on that. So we'll go with the Eagles in that game. Pats Dolphins, a very important game. Always tough for the Pats to beat the Finns down in South Florida, even when the Pats were world champs. Charlie just stepped in the booth. How you doing, Charlie? He's in the booth today looking for an extra biscuit as well on his contract. So Pat's favored by 3.5. Tyreek and Tua, TNT. I made that up myself. So if anybody's going to take it, you better give me credit for it. I'm gonna bookmark it. Right? I'm gonna copyright it. Gonna get it done. Mac Jones year 2. Bill Belichick. See what he does. Mac Jones took the league by storm last year in the first half of the season. Second half of the season cooled off, but still had a nice year. Very important division game already. This is a nut-cutting game because both these teams have playoffs expectations. So this game with the Packer game, the Viking-Packer game, and the Charger-Raider game are nut-cutting games. They're division games where both teams stand a chance to be pretty good. This makes it very, very stressful for coaches and fan bases. I got to go with the Pats. I'm going to put faith in the Pats, although 2 is very tough, and Tyreek Hill makes the game totally different. Ravens at the Jets. Jet fans this week cannot even get to see Wilson. He's hurt. Hopefully Joe Flacco is not asleep. Boomer Esiason has been talking about that all week. If Joe Flacco has a talented roster, like, get psyched up for a change instead of being a yawner. See if he can do something with this team. Jackson versus Sauce Gardner. Is Sleepy Joe Flacco going to wake up? Not the president. Sleepy Joe Flacco. Jets roster is really improved, but missing 2 key guys this week. All right. You're not going to have Beckham and you're not going to have Josh Wilson. All right. So here's the thing. Flacco definitely knows how to do it, but is he going to be a leader? Now, this is a young team. Some good points are brought up this week that, he didn't have to lead on the Ravens. They had Ray Lewis guys like that. Well, he has to lead on this team. This is a young team. I think that the Jets can hang, but 7-point spread is a lot. But then again, I think I'll go with the Jets in this one. I think the Ravens will win, but very big game, starts in about 15 minutes. Then we got the Jags at the Skins. This is the toilet bowl game of the week. This is the dog poop game of the week. Nobody's too good here, right, Charlie? The Jags better step up. They did hire Peterson. Lawrence was awful last year. I never saw our first pick in the draft who was so hyped, almost hyped as much as Elway, get away with having less touchdowns than picks. Anybody else in a major media market would have got crushed. The fact that Urban Meyer was bamboozled and just totally crazy covered up the fact that Lawrence was terrible. So if you look, I think that Wentz at QB, I think that could help the Deadskins or the Commanders, whatever the hell you want to call them. They were bad last year. I think the Skins defense is much improved. The Skins are favored by 2.5. This is such a bad game. I would stay away from this game all day. I guess I would take the Skins at 2.5. Colts Texans, another one of my picks for a knockout pool. I'll go with the Colts. It's not spread when you do knockout pool. Texans just bad, period. There's not much to say. Matty Ice, good coaching. Hopefully they can get it together. Frank Reich and Matty Ice, I think they'll have enough there to take care of this business. And this is a game you have to have if you're the Colts. So we'll move on from that game. Next game, Titans and Giants. Again, fans here in New York, no team needs to get out to a good start more than the Giants. But like we were saying before, the one thing, getting back to that game for a second, with the Jags and the Skins, at least one of these teams is going to get off to a 1-0 start. And that's a good thing. I think that's a positive for the league when you get these teams back in there. But anyway, Titans, Giants need to step up. I mean, Danny Boy. I mean, if he doesn't get it done this year, it's going to be it for Danny Boy. That better be end him. Lesser Titans, forget the Titans instead of remember the Titans. This team could be forget the Titans. Tannehill was highly overrated last year. Came back down to earth a little bit as Rosie's in the booth playing ball. Henry should be enough to take care of business with the Giants. The game's at home in Tennessee. Tennessee favored by 5.5. I don't know. Tennessee just doesn't score a lot. Giants do have some weapons. Missing Thibodeau, though. They're missing some weapons already on defense, so this could be tough. That's a tough game because the Titans just don't blow people out. That might be, I guess I might go with Titans up 5.5. Chiefs at the Cards. I think the spread is way too high. Chiefs plus 8.5. This is a team that I feel like really steps back. Chiefs are not the same team right now. They lost some weapons. All right. I thought they paid way too much for this Kelsey and let go of Hill. I would have kept Hill and tried to balance out that money. Or I paid Hill first. The thing is, Hill's still got some years left. You can find a tight end easy and you can find a talent like Hill, but whatever, they made their decision. I'm not there at practice every day. I think the spread is the worst spread of the week. I don't know how it's 8.5. Chiefs are just not the same. So in this game, I'm missing two great guys. There's no Hill, obviously, for the Chiefs, and there's no Hopkins for the Cards as he's out for 6 weeks coming up. But I would definitely take the Cards under here. I just think that this Chiefs spread is bad. Although Murray's capable of playing great game. Murray, the last couple of years, has gotten off to great starts in the season with the Cardinals and fizzled down the stretch. I think that the Cards will cover in this one and get, they might lose, but less than 8.5 without a doubt. Then, of course, the Broncos at the Seahawks. Again, drama game part 2. So the NFL looks at the schedule and goes, we'll put Russell Wilson on. Denver seems to always play in that first Monday. This year, we don't have the double Monday game, which I always hated. This is good that they only have one Monday game. I think that's enough. Broncos at the Hawks. I think, Pete Carroll in a rebuild could be fun. Pete's a guy that I think guys love to play for. He has so much energy. At 71 years old. This guy looks like he's 31 years old. But again, they love the soap opera game. Just to tell you, NFL should write soap operas. I mean, it's unbelievable. They should get involved in General Hospital or something, or just incredible stuff that they do every year with these drama games. And this is the second drama game of the week, and they just make it happen. Russell Wilson is going to return home. I'm sure he'll get a great ovation. We talked about it yesterday in the AFC West preview. Is Russ going to be happy running a real offense, or is he still going to be able to run around and make plays as he wants? And that's the beauty of Russ. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league that nobody talks about because he's quiet and humble. But at the same time, is he going to want to sit in the pocket and run traditional offense, or is Denver going to let him run? We got to see what they do. I would take the Broncos in this game. I think that line's not high enough, 6.5. I think the Broncos will definitely do it. And again, week 1 here on the somber September 11th day. Again, thanks to all the first responders out there who did all they did, and prayers to all those who lost their loved ones on that day. This is Dave Scholler signing off on a week 1. Again, we'll have our post-game Viking stuff because I am a Viking fan. And we'll be looking forward to you guys next week.